Well, hello everybody. Today I'm going to do something that I'm not really good at, is a video and talking at the same time. I like to have a script, but well, you have to challenge yourselves every now and then. Over there is the room that I'm going to show you today. There are some 17 loudspeakers and 6 different systems in there, but before that I want to show you something. You may recognize this little guy. I use him as an avatar. This is an actual painting that I bought, and there's a little bit of a sad story behind it, because the guy who was selling this, he put it on let's say Dutch eBay, hoping for people to bid higher and higher, but I was the first one, and at the end I was the only one bidding only 40 euros for this real painting done by a real artist. I love the way this guy stands here with his headphones on, so I decided to use him as my avatar. Okay, now let's follow through to the music listening room. Now this room is so small, I cannot get far away enough back into the room to give you a full overview, but let's do a very quick overview, and then I will take every side of the room one by one. Here's my lovely listening chair. All kind of equipment over there. Full surround system in here. We just turn the chair, and there's a lot of the videos, DVDs, Blu-rays, Laserdiscs, and CDs and cassettes that have accumulated throughout the years. So that's the quick overview. Let's break it down for you one by one. So the way this room exists, why it exists, is a few years ago I lost my job, and I had been an audiophile for some 35 years, 40 years almost, and what happens is you buy new stuff and you do not sell all your old stuff. So I was having a lot of stuff, and not, because I lost my job, any money to buy new things. So I decided, why not use this room and make it a very nice place to be with all my equipment, with all my CDs and whatnot, and make sure that everything is connected, doing it in the most cheap way that I could find, so no expensive cables and all kind of stuff, because I had no money, but I had all this stuff. So that is why this room exists. Now, looking at this wall up there, there's a lot of the VHS, because I'm old enough to have been grown up with VHS. That's up there. Then we go down with some boxes from series. There's the complete X-Files. There's the complete Columbo. There's of course Star Trek. Here we have DVDs and Blu-ray boxes. Some James Bond right over there. Some special editions, 2 movie DVD box set from Tomb Raider. The Pink Panther series from Peter Sellers. I love that movie. Pulp Fiction. This is a VHS box. So here we have some more boxes. I found this one on the side of the street actually. People were throwing it away. This is the Van Damme Cyborg VHS box. There's a lot of anime that I love. So here's the Ghost in the Shell. Fifth Element, of course. Luc Besson's movies are just amazing. So I have a lot of those. Some more VHS, some more Blu-ray. Here's some more animation. I'm trying to get the whole series from the Ghibli studios. This is Spirited Away. Wonderful movie. If you have not seen that, please do. It has beautiful music, it has a beautiful story, and the Blu-ray quality is absolutely amazing. Mummy box. Here's some CDs that are all soundtracks. We go on down. Another thing that I like besides animation is stop motion. So here we have from Wallace and Gromit, the dog and the sheep. Computer animation from Pixar. These are all my Blu-rays. Maybe someday I will show you what I have, but today I'm just giving you an overview of all the stuff that I have. So those are all the Blu-rays. Then we start with the CDs. Well, let me back up a little bit. Keep me in focus. So there's 3 rows of CDs, and this is not all that I have. This is everything except for my classical collection. There's even some cassettes over here. Björk this year has brought out all her albums on cassette, so I bought the whole series. Here's more DVDs, because in the time of DVDs I was buying a lot of movies. I think Blu-ray is mostly overpriced, so I did not fully went all in with Blu-ray when it came out. I'm at the moment expanding my collection with second-hand Blu-rays. And here is some Blu-rays and DVDs that I just like to display. Here's of course Amélie, probably one of my top 5 of the best movies ever. Leon, the special edition, the extended edition. Leon, also one of the best movies there is. Terminator, silver box. Here's some metal cases. Some Pixar over there, and down here we have laser discs. So I already showed you the Pulp Fiction on VHS, and I have it here on Laserdisc, and I have it on DVD, and I probably have it on Blu-ray somewhere. Life of Brian, The Abyss, Book About Miles, Reservoir Dogs, also one of those great movies, and Jaws. I made the shelves myself, so this is most of my collection. And so I have my chair here that I can turn to any side of the room, and now it's turned so I can look at everything that I have. Let's move to the next wall. What you see over here is my LINN surround system, a Samsung television, some CD, some 45s. But let's have a closer look. We have these wonderful LINN loudspeakers. We have the center speaker that belongs to the same set. And here's the right one. I'll show you the surrounds in a minute. And then there's these two Tannoy loudspeakers. When I started in this room, changing it to the way it was now, I used a pair of these Tannoys as my front loudspeakers. In fact, these were my front loudspeakers, and I had the same set for surrounds. And gradually, the last few years, of course I am not without a job anymore, I am self-employed now, and this is going very well, so I could upgrade. Excuse me. And there's some 45s here. Also for this surround sound sets, I have a REL Quake Subwoofer over there, and on top of that is my wonderful Sennheiser headphone. Now, in order to play surround, you need an AV receiver, which is down here, Marantz, and an SACD player, DVD player, Blu-ray player, everything player on top of it. The cable over here goes to the Chromecast, which is plugged in at the back. This is the first Chromecast edition. So that's the second side. I can watch my movies over here, and I can listen to music on the Tannoys. So from the Tannoys we move over to this wall, which is filled with all kinds of stuff. So what do we have here? Well, on top there's just a lot of DVD. These are the first edition of the Star Wars on VHS. There's of course Aliens, big fan of Aliens. A Godfather box, so I have the Godfather box on VHS, on DVD and on Blu-ray. Over here we have a DIN Audio loudspeaker, because here's another stack of equipment. I'll be back on that later, but what you see here is a quad set, and the loudspeakers connected to the quad sets are the DIN Audios. Next to that there's a Telefunken loudspeaker that I picked up for very cheap. They are working and they are connected to this Telefunken Concertino, which I also picked up quite cheap, but well, they told me it was working, but it's not. So unfortunately at this moment I cannot use this thing or the Telefunken loudspeakers, but one day I'd like to get this thing working. And then up there of course is the other Telefunken loudspeaker. If you pick these up, these things are actually pretty heavy, and they look amazing if you ask me. An old Telefunken radio complementing the Telefunken loudspeaker there. Some books, and here is the other DIN Audio playing from the quad sets. Some here, some more memorabilia. Philips. I come from Holland. Philips is from Holland. And at some holiday I found this wonderful radio. Fortunately, it's not working anymore. I had it fixed, but it broke down again. It just makes a lot of noise now. But this is, if you look at the design, this is just wonderful. They made very nice things in those days. This is old. Okay, let's go down. Well, here is my Bose noise cancelling that I'm using mostly when I'm going outside or traveling. Over here, this is a musical Fidelity phono amp. This was my first phono amp. Bought it a long time ago and it broke down, but I just keep it because I like the looks of it. I found this postcard at some audio show where I listen to rubbish. I like that. And next to that we have a nice Marantz that I have been using sometime for my computer in another room. But I have a different solution over there now, so now it's standing here doing nothing or just being beautiful. Below that, this little guy is a passive preamp for 2 sources, and I'm using this together with this Quad 306 power amp to play on the Tannoys that I just previously showed you. So that's another set, the preamp, the power amp and the Tannoys. Well, then of course you have too many remotes, so I made a little place for the remotes. Going down beneath the quad power amp are 2 quad FM4s radios. One of them is working, one of them is not. And I have another one in the set that I just showed you, so I have 3 FM4s. Why so many? Well, when I bought the 306, it was a package deal with a other with an FM4, so I had to take it. One of these, the one that is working, has a DIN connection on the rear, and I wanted a analog tulip FM4, so that's why I bought one, and now I have 3 of them. Okay, here is the same Tannoy as we have over here, which used to be the surround speakers for the big 5.1 system over here, but now they are with this television, and there's the other one. They are the front loudspeakers for this TV, which is being played from this Cambridge audio. So why do I need a system when I have a system right over here? Well, let's say this is mostly for digital sources, and this one is mostly used for analog sources. So if I open this one, what we have here, well, let me open it all the way. What we have here is a lot of analog sources. So down here we have a DVD player. Now this is of course digital, but this is one of the early DVD players which also has a SCART out, and that's what I'm using over here. Plus in those days you had the DVDs and the different regions 1 or 2, and of course I was living in 2. I could not play region 1 DVDs, which were mostly better with more extras and things like that. So this Pioneer is also playing every region actually. On top of that we have the VHS player, and everything you see here is connected and is playing, so I can still watch my VHS movies. On top of that, this Sony is a laserdisc player, so I can also play my laserdiscs. Of course everything has a power cord. So here we have a filter from PS Audio, quintet. So let's close this up again. And because the TV has only one SCART input, and I have multiple SCART equipment. I have this SCART switcher, getting three pieces of equipment with SCART outs and turning it into one. And this side you cannot really see it, but this is not analog, this is an Apple TV, and the cables on the back kept pulling it from the how you call it, from the chest, and so that's why I put on this weight so it won't be pulled off. And of course, you have to be quiet when you are in this room. On top of that, these are all the CDs I have with paper jackets and sleeves. I don't like that kind of packaging. It yellows, it breaks down, it tears. And it goes even faster when you put it in between the normal CDs, so I have them all together over here. Next to the concertino we have some of the books that I have. Satchmo, about the life of Mozart, Jacques Brel, Eva Cassidy, the making of Kind of Blue, all kind of books. And there's some more up there. For example, a book about the life of Bessie Smith. So these are all books that contain something about audio, most of them biographies. Then we have here these wonderful loudspeakers that I have to refoam already for a long time now, but I have to refoam them. These are Allison 6s. They sound wonderful, but at the moment I'm not playing them. So what else do we have? We have seen that. Alright. Cassettes, of course. Because there is a cassette player, a double cassette player from GVC over here. You've probably seen these kind of things to keep more cassettes. And then we have on the tier below what you call it? Well, this thing. And next to that we have a Hi-Fi Man headphone. And over here we have a wonderful switch, because the quad that I showed you before, this wonderful quad, which contains of a preamp, a tuner, power amp, but it has just very few inputs. So what I did, I placed this switch in between it, so I can have multiple sources connected to, come on, focus, have multiple sources connected to the quad audio. And this quad audio is playing most of my analog sources, so it is playing the cassette deck, the reel-to-reel tape, and it is playing this Pioneer record player. So if we go over here, this is a DCC cassette deck, digital cassette deck that I had restored recently. It was not done very well, the restoration, but I can play cassettes now. Over here we have an AVM Evolution preamp. This is more like a spare for when my 35-year-old preamp that I'm using in the main system needs some attention and I have to bring it for repairs, for example. Then I use this AVM preamp. On top of that, there's another Marantz AV receiver I'm trying to sell at the moment. It has no HDMI inputs or outputs, so it's not in use anymore. On top of that is an old record player in a case. And let's see, what else do we have over here? Alright, here's another system, because here we have a Marantz set. Focus. The PM66SA special edition with the Marantz CD player, the CD67. So that's another set. And below that, Nokki, this is the washing machine for my vinyl records. And below that we have another of those cassette cases. Okay, so still we're not done. Here's my two STAX headphones. These are of course electrostatic headphones, needing a special amplifier for them. So I have this original STAX SR-L500 This is now at a pretty old age at the moment, but it's still working just fine. And it is connected to, this was my first Sirius. Well, I had a Marantz CD10. And after that broke down, I bought myself this Okki FMG CD player, which is now being used when I play music for listening to on my STAX headphones. So, anything else? What in here? It's just all kind of left over CDs and test CDs and whatnot. Oh wait, what we have here is another radio, also a Talisman Radio. This is the same old age as I am, and at that time it costed an insane amount of money for and if you listen to it now, when you have a good reception and a good station, this thing sounds amazing, absolutely amazing. Okay, well, I believe I've covered everything that is on this side. Did I? Yes, I did. I finished with this Marantz set, and next to them you have this Q acoustic loudspeaker, and this is being played by the Marantz. So of course I have two of them, and this, the last wall we are covering, is mostly records. There in the middle you have the LINN surround loudspeaker, and there's the other one. It's not the completely perfect place for a surround setup, but well, this is what I have to work with, and it's working quite well. kinds of LP boxes, headphone boxes, record cleaning materials. So this is the last wall we are covering. So in order to recap, we have one complete surround set, and that is the LINN set you see over here. Left, right, main speakers, the center, and down there was the subwoofer, and right behind me the two LINN surround loudspeakers. So that's set number 1. Alright, and it's being played by the Marantz down there. Then we have the two Tannoy loudspeakers. This is a stereo setup played by the passive preamp and the quad 306. So that is system number 2. Then we have system number 3 for watching analog, which is the two Tannoys, this Cambridge Audio AV receiver, and we had the DVD, the VHS and the laser discs. So that is the third system that I have here. Then we have the Telefunken wooden loudspeakers, the Concertino, which is going to be repaired. And there's the other loudspeaker. So that is system number 4. Then we have this quad set, which is system number 5, playing through the DIN audio loudspeakers and using the as sources, using the cassette deck, the reel-to-reel deck, and this turntable. Then we have the 6th system, which is the STAX headphones amplifier connected to the CD player from Arcom. And then we have the Marantz set with only a CD player connected to the Q Acoustics loudspeakers, which is system number 7, and the DCC cassette deck still needs to be connected to one of those systems. I believe that's it. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed hearing me stumbling through this video without a script, and I hope you liked what I had to show. If you did, please give the video a like and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. My channel is still very small, so I can really use your likes and your subscriptions. Until next time.